Was having Cody Rhodes lose at WrestleMania the right call? And a groundbreaking announcement was made last night on AEW Dynamite. But first, let's kick off today's video with the news of a brand new signing for All Elite Wrestling. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite would start off hot, as within 1 minute of the show beginning, Switchblade Jay White joined Bullet Club's Juice Robinson in an attack on Ricky Starks, who were about to start a match. White and Juice would then leave together, leading to questions on White's future in the Bullet Club faction as a whole. Jay would recently lose a loser leaves New Japan match as a way of writing him off due to his expiring contract, this before being attacked by David Finlay Jr. Now, Finlay has taken claim to being the new leader of the group, with him now also managed by White's former manager Gato. Renee Paquette would try to get a comment on Jay's status in the Bullet Club after the show, although he would decline to comment, with this seemingly being a storyline that will head into the Forbidden Door show in June. Either way, AEW President Tony Khan would confirm on Twitter that Switchblade Jay White has signed with All Elite Wrestling, this after most expected him to show up in WWE at some point over WrestleMania weekend. Over the past few weeks and months, it's been reported that WWE were confident in the move happening, something Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful noted last night, with him taking to Twitter to say, "There were people in WWE until about a week ago that were still optimistic they might be able to land Switchblade, but nope." Will Washington, also of Fightful, would tweet a similar sentiment, confirming that the talk wasn't just online rumours, with him writing, "WWE was very interested. Multiple people in the company were confident it would happen, definitely not a Twitter thing." Dave Meltzer would also take to Wrestling Observer Radio last night to confirm that White chose AEW over WWE, with some suggesting that it could be linked to the recent return to creative of Vince McMahon. Elsewhere on Dynamite, a brief vignette would air to reveal the return of two absent AEW stars. Christian Cage would appear in front of a room lit with red, this before Luchasaurus walked out with a slightly different look to what we've seen in the past, with him set to continue his role as a monster heel. Christian hasn't been seen since the final burial match with Jungle Boy at the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, which he of course lost, and Luchasaurus hasn't been seen on TV for even longer. His last AEW appearance came in December, this before he and AEW were hit with a lawsuit over the use of his mask on merchandising without the correct licensing. Whilst that case is still ongoing, his new look appears to be a workaround, although the lighting did make it difficult to tell if the mask is truly a new design. The show would also see two title defenses early on in the night, the first of which would pit the trio's champions, the House of Black, up against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, who were driven to the arena by Trent's mom, Sue, which received a huge pop. In the end, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews would retain after the latter hit a curb stomp on Chuck Taylor for the 1-2-3. The second title match of the night would then see Jamie Hayter defend her AEW Women's World Championship against the first ever champion, Riho. In the end, it was the champion that retained once again after Hayter dropped Riho with the Haterade for the pinfall victory. There would then be a third and final title match on the show, with the AEW World Tag Team Championships being on the line in the main event of the show. Not only were the belts on the line, but the AEW careers of the challengers were too, as FTR took on the Guns in what was their final chance at the belts. The jeopardy in the match came after Dax Harwood would recently reveal on his podcast that he and Cash Wheeler's contracts were set to expire this month, with the stipulation leading to the question of, is this how they will be written off of television? In the end, however, reports of FTR being under long-term contracts appeared to be verified when Dax and Cash pinned Austin and Colton at the exact same time, scoring the 1-2-3 and the title belts. The absent CM Punk would later react to the win on his now infamous Instagram story, simply posting a photograph of FTR celebrating with Mark Briscoe after the match, adding to speculation that he has his eye on a return to the company in the near future. And now that we know which AEW stars are sticking around, let's take a look at somebody that may not be. Brian Cage's AEW contract would officially come to an end earlier this month, the same night that he retained the ROH six-man titles at ROH Super Card of Honor. Despite the contract ending, Cage still holds one of Tony Khan's championships, with the ROH owner revealing in the post-show media scrum that he hopes to keep him around in the long term. Fightful Select have now revealed that there is a long-term contract on the table for Brian, should he so wish to re-sign with the company, with also being reported that AEW did attempt to add some time onto his previous deal due to time missed with injury, although it's said that he knocked this back. Fightful noted that productive conversations have occurred between the two sides, which are still ongoing, with powerful names in AEW pushing for him to re-sign, whilst powerful members of the WWE roster are hoping he'll make the jump to New York. Now let's get to some news of 2 more signings in AEW, with the first of which being revealed prior to last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan would take to Twitter to confirm that former ROH World Champion Nigel McGuinness is now All Elite, with him joining the company's broadcast team. Nigel has been a free agent ever since his WWE release in October 2022, where he worked as an announcer for 205 Live, NXT UK, and Main Event. He would originally sign for WWE in 2016, this after transitioning into a color commentator in Ring of Honor, where he also previously competed as a wrestler prior to his forced retirement, with him also known for his time in TNA Wrestling, where he wrestled under the name of Desmond Wolfe. And before we continue, why not drop a like down below if you're enjoying the video, and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss the latest wrestling news, as we try to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But with that said, let's get to the next story. Another AEW signing was confirmed via PW Insider, who revealed that the promotion have signed former WWE Vice President of Communications Adam Hopkins, with him seemingly joining AEW's PR team. PW Insider would provide some information as to Hopkins' role in WWE and noted, Hopkins was one of the longest tenured employees for WWE, initially joining their fan services department all the way back in September 1997. He was with the company for 25 plus years, a record that at this point will never likely be matched or surpassed when he exited earlier this year. Over the course of his WWE run, Hopkins was the manager of media relations, director of communications, and senior manager, public relations, and corporate communication, among other titles. Hopkins was basically at the front lines for the company when it came to handling media requests, and over the years built a great reputation for being fair even when he and media outlets would have been in adversarial roles. In some circles of WWE, he was very much credited with reopening the doors for WWE to reach out again to the pro wrestling media, and was also a big part of building the Paul Levesque vision of NXT. This past weekend at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes would fall short in his attempt to win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship from Roman Reigns, with many fans feeling that this was the perfect time to pull the trigger. Speaking with Ariel Helwani of BT Sport following the show, the Bloodline's wise man, Paul Heyman, would be asked if the decision to not have Cody win was the right one, with him responding, "We'll be hearing this all summer. Oh, this is perfect. The stars are aligned. It has to happen now. We've been hearing it this whole time. 2 years ago, last SummerSlam with Brock, the Royal Rumble with Kevin Owens, Montreal with Sami, Cardiff with Drew McIntyre, 2 SummerSlams ago with John Cena. This is where John Cena gets number 17. Wouldn't it be perfect if he beats Roman Reigns? This is it. John Cena becomes the most decorated champion of all time. Perfect. Everything is in line. Of course it's in line for it. That's how you make a challenger. If the challenger is, I guess this is okay, nobody is going to buy that. It has to happen now. That's the promotional business." Of course, time will only tell if the stars can once again align like they did on Sunday, something that will ultimately come down to how Cody Rhodes is booked going forward, with questions being raised on if Vince McMahon's return to creative could see somebody else end the Tribal Chief's near 1,000-day reign as champion. Now let's get back to last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, where a major announcement was made by Tony Khan. On the show, Khan would appear side by side with Adam Cole and recent acquisition Nigel McGuinness to reveal that this coming summer, All Elite Wrestling are heading across the pond to host their first show outside of North America. Not only are they heading to the UK, but they are heading to the country's largest stadium, Wembley Stadium in London, England, which is the home of the England football team, as well as various other concerts and sporting events. The venue holds up to 90,000 people for football matches, this without taking into account the seats that will be installed on the pitch itself, with there being potential for a 100,000 plus attendance. The name of the event will be AEW All In tribute to the independent show ran by Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which kickstarted All Elite Wrestling to begin with the company going back to their roots. This time AEW truly are going all in with the size of the venue, leading to questions on how many people will attend the event, with the UK being one of the hotbeds for pro wrestling worldwide. Whilst the sellout does feel unlikely, with the right card and marketing, the company could easily smash their attendance record set in September 2021 at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, which currently stands at 20,177 for the Grand Slam edition of Dynamite. Another factor will be how many AEW fans fly over from the United States and the rest of the world to be part of history in London. Whether it's a sellout or not, the sheer size of the stadium should ensure that everybody that wants a ticket gets one, which is of course a positive. And before you go, make sure you check out the 10 free agents that are set to shake up WrestleMania season.